Welcome back to the Wednesday Icon Talk, special edition of GODSU Summer Graduation and Empower You Conference. I am yours truly, His Excellency Dakar, and I am the CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools. And I'm here with my brilliant co-host, Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, and she is the chancellor as well as the founder of the GODSU Wednesday Icon Talk and also GODSU Global Oba Day. So this is actually a special edition, and let's turn it over to you. I'd love to hear some more.
Well, I am so glad that you came up with the idea of making a Wednesday Icon Talk special edition where we feature the people from our graduation, the speakers from our Empower You conference, and that our audience get to hear their speeches. I think it's a great idea. You're such a genius. And everything that you see coming right up is coming from the Car Marketing Tools as well as Cairo Writes, Cairo Speaks. Enjoy. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce our panelists, and I'm going to allow our moderator, our chancellor, to take the stage. But we have several amazing panelists who will be speaking for our masterclass number 3. So as a panelist, Her Excellency Ambassador Arikana Chihombori-Quao is a medical doctor and activist. She's a public speaker, educator, diplomat, founder of medical clinics, and an entrepreneur. She moved to the United States after living many years in Zimbabwe. She's the CEO and founder of Bell Family Medical Centers in the United States. She was the African Union representative between 2017 and 2019. She holds a bachelor's degree in general chemistry, a master's degree in organic chemistry, and a doctor of medicine degree. Chihombori was a family doctor, a family medicine specialist in Tennessee, and she's practiced medicine for over 29 years in Tennessee. And she's also a GODSU honorary doctoral recipient as well, and we're so elated to have her join our GODSU family. Next, floor over to our Chancellor, Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks for masterclass number 3. Excellent. Hi, everybody. I am Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, and this class was very, very much inspired by one of my mentors, Dr. Naeem Akbar, and also by Maya Angelou, where she talks about, I know why the cage bird sings. And so we came up with this title of, I know why the cage bird must be free. Okay, we've been singing and entertaining folks for years. So we know why the cage birds must be free after 400 years. And we want to talk about do an historical analysis on the key issues facing Africans and Africans in the diaspora in 2020. So I'm going to bring on Dr. Akbar, no other than the former ambassador of the AU, the most powerful woman in the world right now. And that is none other than Her Excellency Ambassador Arikana. Please, there we are with her. 2018. Yes. I forgot about that beautiful picture with her. Isn't she lovely? Well, she's with us today. And so I'm going to ask everybody to mute their lines. And next voice up will be Ambassador Arikana, medical doctor. And in the background, we have the AU in honor of her presence today.
Thank you so much, Chancellor, my sister Diane. Thank you for reminding me of that photograph. I remember now when we first met. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate the work that you're doing to wake us up. To Dr. Akbar, thank you for the wonderful words. Me too. I was out here saying, yes, 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 tell them. I used to have an uncle who would always sit in the back of the church when the pastor was preaching. And whenever the pastor would say something powerful, he would say, tell them. And so that's what I was doing in the back, just cheering you. Thank you, Dr. Akbar, for the wonderful words. I think as a race, we are going through a very interesting time in history. the 400 years since the children of Africa were taken out of the continent. It's really unbelievable to think that we have been through as much as we have been through, and yet we still have a lot of work to do for us to truly wake up. It saddens me sometimes just to wonder, what is it about us that makes it so difficult to just duplicate what others so easily do? Particularly when you look at what we have here in the United States of America, the melting pot. I often say, ask for the voices of the Chinese diaspora, loud and clear. The voices of the Mexicans, the voices of the Indians from the country of India, the voices of the Irish diaspora, the German Americans, the Italian Americans, the Jews. Their voices are loud and clear. They understand very well the importance of staying anchored to their primary anchor, residing in this beautiful country of the United States. With the exception of the American Indians, everyone else is an immigrant. And they're proud of where they come from. The only people who are not proud of where they come from are us Black people. Even the Africans who are recent immigrants, who were born on the continent, I find it interesting when you ask them, where are you from? And quite often they will say, almost 100% of the time, I'm originally from Nigeria. Well, if you're originally from Nigeria, where are you from now? It's like, I used to be from Nigeria, but not anymore. And they don't realize that's what they're saying. But somehow, we're too busy running away from our primary anchor. Why are we running away from our primary anchor? It goes back to what Dr. Agba was talking about. We were meant to believe that anything to do with Africa was bad and undesirable. We were meant to believe that everything to do with the Black race was bad and undesirable. We were meant to believe that anything that represents who we are is unacceptable, that we should always aspire to be something that we can never be. Allow me to take you to my village of Zimbabwe. Growing up in my country of Zimbabwe, prior to the British coming to Zimbabwe in 1896, we did not have the color Black or the color white. We did not know about Jesus Christ. We had our own higher power. We understood there was a higher power. We had our own name of God and intermediaries who we knew. We could not speak and communicate directly with God. We went through our intermediaries. But the British came and told us that everything we believed in was unacceptable, but they introduced their own religion. They told us about Jesus Christ, and they told us about the angels. They told us that the angels were white, and that there was something called the devil, and that the devil was Black. They told us about the color Black, told us how the color Black looks like, and told us how the color white looked like. Then they proceeded to tell us what the angels symbolized and what the devil symbolized. The angels were perfect, everything desirable, but here is the kicker. Even though they don't look white like the white piece of paper they told us it looked like, they said, oh, by the way, we are white. We represent the angels. And oh, by the way, there's something called the devil. Unacceptable, does all the horrible things. You want nothing to do with the devil, and that devil is Black. And by the way, you too are Black. Now let's all go to church. Let's all pray. And as we worship, we all want to be like the angels. And the angels who just happen to be white. Let's all pray to a Jesus who, even though in the Bible it is clear that Jesus Christ was not white, his color, skin color is described as crimson in some scriptures. We all know very well when Mary and Joseph were trying to run away from King Herod, they were advised to go to Egypt, not Europe. Why Egypt? Because they knew in Egypt he was going to blend with others who looked like him. If he was a white person, they would have advised them to go to Europe. But there he would stand out like a sore tooth. The issue of white angels and black devils was done intentionally. For those were the instructions the missionaries were given when they came to Africa, to criminalize blackness, to make us believe everything black was undesirable, to make us hate ourselves and aspire to be something we can never be, white. Make us believe that there was something called angels. If I may ask all of you who are listening today, who has seen the angels? Who has seen the devils? Who was given the right to describe them, except it was a figment of somebody else's imagination, designed to diminish us, to make us feel inferior and less desirable and less of human beings. Those, my brothers and sisters, were lies. Blatant lies that we were told to make us feel inferior, to dislike ourselves. The question then becomes, how long will it take for us to accept those lies, understand them, and denounce them, and begin to turn the corner as a race and say, enough is enough. No more can our children continue to live among these lies. No more shall we continue to pass these lies to our children, but that our children must know the truth. That we as Black people are the origin of humanity. That without Black people, without the Black woman, if I may brag a little bit, there would not be any humanity as we know it. There would not be any other races. The Black woman gave birth to the first human being. Why is it then that those who gave birth to humanity are treated as the scum of the earth? Why is it that we are being told that we are inferior, and yet we know the truth? Why is it that we have accepted these lies, even though we know very well that they are lies, but somehow we hold on to them and never challenge them? It goes back to the brainwashing that we have been subjected to. It goes back to the mastermind, the plan that was put in place to keep us where they want us to be. That has got to change. It is affecting us in every way. It is precisely the reason why we continue to be the most disrespected race on earth. It is precisely the reason why we are unable to look at what other races are doing around us. We are totally incapable of rescuing ourselves from ourselves. The enemy for us is within. Where they defeated us is in the mind. While we may have lost the shackles of the ankles and the shackles of the wrists, the shackles of the mind remain alive and well today. The realization and understanding and appreciation that we're not only sick from this disease, but we are in the intensive care, wherein lies the problem. How do you seek health care if you don't believe you're sick? How do you go to the doctor if you don't believe you're sick? How often do you have a conversation? In my case, in many cases, I'll ask young people, and I talk about the legacy of colonization and the legacy of slavery. And almost 100% of the time, young people will say, I'm so glad I don't have that problem. Well, Dr. Akbar said it very nicely. Why is it that we spend $1,000 to buy Brazilian hair? Why is it that it's easier for us to patronize others who don't look like us? I often say a Black man who has had a shop in a Black neighborhood for years, the minute a Chinaman shows up with his own shop, we will walk right past the Black man's shop to patronize the Chinaman. And pretty soon, we are putting the Black man out of business. Only we Black people can do that. And yet we are fully aware that if a Black person tried to open a shop in Chinatown, not a single Chinaman would patronize them. If a Black man tries to open a shop in Little Italy, not a single Italian will patronize them. But we will more than happy run to their shops and pass our own, and we will be quite happy. Because why? We are being told that anything that has to do with us is undesirable, and we spend the rest of our lives doing whatever it takes to make us feel just a little bit closer to white people, because we are being told that is what the idea of beauty should be. My brothers and sisters, until we wake up to that realization, until we understand that we are suffering from this disease, until we understand that singularly, this is the disease that's keeping us from moving forward, until we understand that singularly, if we want to make sure that we will not have any more George Floyds, we must heal from this ailment. And that means you and I need to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. In a very realistic way, let's not lie to ourselves. Let's not lie to our children. We must be the generation that's going to put an end to this curse. We must be the generation that's going to say enough is enough. We owe it not only to ourselves, but to our children, our grandchildren, and generations to come. Speaking from the position that I'm speaking from, I am particularly concerned about what is getting ready to happen to your Africa, our Africa. I'm here to share with you a decision that was agreed upon by the African heads of states. That decision is called African Continental Free Trade Area. It is a decision that for the first time in the history of our beloved continent, Africa is going to enter the world market as one customs union, speaking with one voice, one heart, one mind, heading towards one common destination. I encourage all of you to look up the African Continental Free Trade Area, read it up and understand it fully. And this is why it is important. The African Continental Free Trade Area is going to open up all the borders that have been keeping African countries from trading with each other. Doing business in Africa is getting ready to be very easy. You establish yourself in one country and you spread like wildfire throughout the continent. The reality on the ground in your Africa, in our Africa is, and please pay attention to this. Today, as we speak, there isn't a single African country that has the capacity to build a railway line. There isn't a single African country that has the capacity to build an airport. That capacity is in the diaspora. One of the best airports in the world, the most well-run airport in the world, was built by the majority Black companies and continues to be run by majority Black companies. And I'm talking about the Atlanta airport, the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And yet, airports are being built every day in Africa by the Chinese, while Africa's children, who are very capable, are sitting in the diaspora. The reason the children of Africa are not building those airports is because the African leaders do not know how to reach them. It's because we are disorganized. We are not united. There's no one place you can pick up a phone call and reach the African diaspora and let the African diaspora know about what is going on in our Africa, because what is going on in our Africa is your inheritance and you deserve to have access to it. Here is the reality on the ground, my brothers and sisters. Come next year, the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area is going to begin. The Chinese who are already in Africa are getting ready to quadruple their presence. They're getting ready and mobilizing all their financial resources. The Europeans who have been in Africa for centuries are getting ready to quadruple their presence. Because why? They know that the capacity that is needed to build a sustainable Africa is in the diaspora. It is not on the continent. But they also know that the diaspora, the true inheritors, are fast asleep. So come next year, just picture what's getting ready to come from the West and what is getting ready to come from the East. There is a void in Africa. And that void is what was created by the brain drain that took place over the past 400 years, the brain drain out of Africa. When the slavers took the children of Africa as slaves, they took the best and the fittest that Africa had. And then we have the latest migrants who left Africa in search of greener pastures, some running away from famine and war. The end result is the void that was created by the brain drain. It is precisely the void that is being filled by the Chinese and by the Europeans. The question I have for you, my brothers and sisters, Africa remains the richest continent on earth. In spite of many centuries of exploitation, the colonizers have only taken maybe 10% of Africa's natural resources. There's still plenty of natural resources that belong to you and I. Every day we are discovering more and more natural resources in our beloved Africa. Here is the reality on the ground. Come next year, the question I have for you, children of Africa, there is a seat that has your name. If you do not occupy that seat, others will occupy that seat for you. For you to stop asking the question, why is it that the Chinese are getting the contracts to build Africa? Well, they're getting the contracts because you are missing in action, because you are not available to take over that contract. The reality is the Cape to Cairo highway is going to be built. The Senegal to Djibouti high-speed rail is going to be built, and highways everywhere in between. New cities are going to be built, ports are going to be built. The question is, by who? That is your inheritance. The continent, which is producing 50% of the world gold, the continent which produces the largest amounts of platinum in the world, the continent which is the second largest producer of diamonds, the continent with over 65% of the arable land in the world, the continent which is the largest producer of coltan, I can go on and on and on, is your continent. They are ready to come take everything that's on the continent. The African heads of states are saying, Ambassador, let the children of Africa in the diaspora know that they must come home. They must come and take what belongs to them. You see, the white people are going to Africa poor and they come back rich. The African heads of states are saying, there's nothing wrong with the children of Africa coming home to Africa, investing in Africa, come home poor, and also live your Africa rich. Go back to the United States, go back to Europe and play golf just like they do while your money is working for you in Africa. The time is now, my brothers and sisters. We do not have time to waste. We do not have time to continue to self-hate. We do not have time to continue to distrust each other. I am here to let you know that Africa, if we do not come together this time, is going to be gone for good. The choice is yours. Are we going to come together and speak with one voice? Or will we continue to allow the legacy of slavery and the legacy of colonization to continue to win to our detriment and to their benefit? The choice is yours. I have registered an entity called African Diaspora Development Institute. This is an entity that I'm hoping we can all come together as children of one Mother Africa, that once and for all we can come together and look towards going home once the African Continental Free Trade Area implementation begins. But that this time we are not going to in as fragmented Africans, but rather we are going back home together as a united front, a united, beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, and totally indestructible front, family of one Mother Africa. Please, I urge all of you to go to our ADDI, that's OUR, ADDI.org, our ADDI.org, and sign up. We want to know who you are professionally. We want to know if you are an organization, if you are a company, what services do you offer? So when come time to go home, we want to be able to find you. Let's go home, my brothers and sisters. And for the purposes of waking up, I've also written a book which is called Africa 101, The Wake Up Call. I understand if we are to succeed at coming together, we must understand our history. Africa 101, The Wake Up Call, is educating us about our history, what they have done to us during slavery, during colonization, after independence, the games they continue to play with us today, and the reasons why you and I must wake up and unite and realize, as children one Mother Africa, we must unite and work towards a common destiny. And that is going home to Africa and claim our inheritance. I thank you.
That is amazing. That's amazing, Ambassador. And your words, I mean, this entire conference has just been a foundation for the words that you're saying. We've been through physical slavery, and when Harriet Tubman had her physical underground, we're now in a situation that although we're physically free, we seem to be free, it seems that we're economically, we are enslaved. And with that economic slavery, we have been, mentally, psychologically, as Dr. Akbar said, and you've also stated, the church has been a railroad that has used baby white Jesus, who as the conductor, to lead us into a dysfunction because we have not taken the time to learn truly who we are. We look at Africa, and then we talk about North Africa, and we talk about the Middle East, not understanding that before November the 17th, 1869, there was no Suez Canal separating Africa from the Middle East. It was all one piece of land. But they have separated that. And because many of us, we don't educate ourselves, we don't read, we don't try to learn and research, then we learn and the miseducation, and we take it as fact. As you said, they've taught us, you go into many of these churches, you look at many of these billboards, you see the Black preacher and you see the white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus, which is really, I think, Michelangelo's cousin or something like that. The pastors are not telling people about the Council of Nicaea, the Nicene Council. They're not telling people the truth. They're not telling people the changes that they've made. I don't know how can in the Middle East, how in Africa, you're going to have somebody named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They change the names. They change the names of places, the names of sea, the names of rivers to confuse folks so they don't understand, where they really came from. So it's African Diaspora Development Institute. That is our ADDI. And we want everyone to stick a pin on that so that you can go back, and I want you all to join it. And just so you know, because I know that Her Excellency had meetings all day, and as such, she's just on, so she may not know that we featured her
in our magazine as well. So I want everybody to buy that book. What I would like her to do is to be one of our professors, so we can teach that book as a workbook and make it as a class, so that people all over the world, because I don't know about her, but so many of the people I know, when it comes to reading and books, they're very slow unless you have a class. So if you tell them go read this book, they won't do it. But here at GODSU, every week we're teaching. And we teach from books like that. So we're going to teach people to wake up from their slumber of 400 years. We're going to teach them to free themselves from mental shackles and slavery and colonization. We'll make this one of our textbooks. Okay. Yes. So that's what we will do. So we will enter that. And that way, everybody who's in the class has to buy that book. I would suggest to her, though, the other authors who use us, Ambassador, they use us as their fulfillment center for the US, only because when they use Amazon gives them $1 for a book that they can sell for $25 or more. So that's something that you may want to look into, as well as we have connections with, you may know him, Dr. Jeffrey Wright. We both of us went to Georgetown Law Center together, and he has the largest African-American owned book publishing in the entire world. And so many of our authors use him to produce their books, as well as to do their workbooks and to do their publishing, their printing, etc. So that's a conversation that we could have, so that you can make more money on your books, because of the fact that when you use Jeff Bezos makes sure that the book is sold for $20 and you get $1. So we will talk more about that. You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, there's a recent pandemic everybody's going on about, the COVID-19. We have had a pandemic for the last 400 years of, Europe being on our necks. And so we are ready. We support you. We support what you're doing. And we support African Continental Free Trade. And you're talking about having resources. We have a 300-page magazine that includes just a fraction of our students, and with the listing of exactly what they do, how to reach them. And so any movement, we already have the Army. The Army is already ready and to go. And in fact, this year's magazine features you, young lady. Ambassador, who is that?
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's very sweet of you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And the bottom line is that the next speaker, Prince Dr. Jabari, is the one that made sure that all obstacles were removed to make sure that you were here today, because today is a beginning. Today is the beginning of a great collaboration to take us over those bridges, to take us through those valleys, to hit the high spot that you're talking about, which is real freedom. Because we are going to use exactly what you're saying to take us through that economical underground, because that economical underground that's going to take us to real freedom that comes from, unshackling the mind, comes from coming together, trusting each other enough to do business with each other, cut away the jealousy. When King Nana Dr. Obakesi Ampa came to me and said, he's having his University of Excellence, I didn't say, oh, I'm going to be jealous. I'm going to tear you down because you're having something I have. You know what we said? We said, we will collaborate. You can put it under your name. If you need a section that teaches the things that we teach and bring what we bring, we will bring that. We don't look at it as a competition. We look at it as a collaboration, not as conflict, but as creating and coalescing together to overcome what we need to overcome. And so that is why we were so pleased when Prince Dr. Jabari brought you. And I said, I have met her 3 times, but each time there was a male who came in the middle and took her away from me. And here it is, there's a proper male now who brought her in front of us and said, you two need to meet. You two need to sit down, collaborate, and make things happen. So we are so happy. You are our economical Harriet Tubman. You are that person who is going to lead us to that promised land, which is Africa, whereby we are not going to get into tribalism and say, well, I am African-American, I am from Jamaica, and we're going to say, look here, as Malcolm X said, if a cat is born in a stove, Does it become a ham or whatever he said? No, it's still a cat. So if you're born in Jamaica, if you're born in Guyana, if you're born in Tennessee, if you're born in Alabama, it does not make you not an African because you're born here. You are an African. And so we just need to have that commonality and come together. And as you can see on the magazine, we have all the other great people who are part of GODSU, but we wanted to feature you, Her Excellency, because we know that you're going to lead us to the promised land.
Thank you so much, my sister. I really, truly appreciate you. We are in it together. We are a wounded people, and we are only going to survive when we come together. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome, Her Excellency. And
Spokesperson for GODSU, Ambassador, His Excellency Dr. Dakar Ajigawa Chaplain, Ambassador of Ghana to the USA. Can you please give us a brief introduction and how we can get in contact with you and the embassy?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. The embassy is in Washington, D.C. on International Drive, and we are very accessible. If it's a matter of landmark, we are between Bangladesh and the Israeli embassy. So we are very easy to find. I'm taking the opportunity to welcome all of you to Ghana. If you haven't visited yet, I think you should, because we more or less sit in the center of the earth. And therefore, when the good Lord was doing the business, he was standing on Ghanaian soil. You remember last year was the year of return, where we were trying to honor all those people who left our shores involuntarily, came into this country, had to deal with a language they never heard of, and yet they mastered it enough to write books and sonnets and whatnot. They didn't have much of an education, and the education they tried to provide for themselves was nothing to write home about. But then, again, they became scientists and inventors and whatnot. And in fact, most of them have contributed to the culture of America as it is today. And therefore, we're only asking that they can visit the homes that their ancestors left, see what is available, take a decision whether they would want to get involved. But we would want them to get involved, because for us, we've always considered African Americans as brothers and sisters. So for Ghana, we consider it your home. And home is where you go, and they have to take you in. So our doors are open. You might probably recall that in the course of last year, about over 200 African Americans were given Ghanaian citizenship in an open ceremony and such. We do believe that we have a little gem of a country, and we are encouraging everybody to come and put a certain kind of economic stake in it. Those people who came there earlier and made it, we didn't invite them. They just came and took what they wanted. This time, we are inviting you, and we are inviting you as kinsmen. So if the others who were not related and all that came in and made good, there is absolutely no reason why you cannot come and also make good. We need a certain kind of partnership. Whichever way we look at it, wherever we are, people see us first through our pigmentation. And I'm quite sure that that in itself is something to stand by. And I can guarantee you that those of you who are African Americans, those of us who are Africans from wherever, we haven't significantly had an objection to being called Black. Now that in itself is a binding wire. We should exploit it. Come to Ghana. I'm quite sure you will love it. And I'm quite sure that it will be good for our relationship across the pond, and also for a fair investment, for a fair return. It will be economically a wonderful exchange between African Americans and Ghanaians. Come to Ghana, you'll love it. Am I okay?
You're wonderful. It's great to see you, Ambassador.
It's good to see you. You know, these days, this thing hanging on the necks of all of us makes it very difficult even to make a move.
I know. I miss you so much. So what we're going to do, because normally we do our residency part of our graduation with you at the Ghanaian Embassy, we're going to do it virtually. So we're excited to see you again through the phone August 14th, but know that we love you and know that we miss you and that we will be in touch telephonically as well as video. So thank you so much for your time, Ambassador, and thank you for being a volunteer. You've been a study volunteer for GODSU for years. You've traveled with us all over the country, from all over the world, and so we appreciate you, and we love you, we honor you. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, it has been my privilege and my pleasure. Thank you very much for making that possible.
Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Okay. You take care.
We will.
Thank you, Ambassador. Followed by Embassy host for GODSU, Minister Dr. Jane Adams, who is the interim DC representative for the Nigerian government to the US. Dr. Jane Adams, can you please give us a brief introduction and how we can get in contact with you in the embassy?
Good afternoon, and thanks so much, Dr. Diane and His Excellency Dakar and everyone present here. It's a great opportunity to meet you and to talk to you. My name is Dr. Jane Adams. I happen to be one of the GODSU alumni, and I owe my appreciation most especially to God Almighty and to Dr. Diane, who has been a mother to us, a very wonderful person. And, you know, sometimes in life, God guides you and brings you in contact with what we call helpers of destiny. And Dr. Diane happens to be one of those helpers of destiny that God brought me in contact with. And I'm really grateful to God. And also Professor Odu. By his special grace, I happen to be one of the staff, one of the diplomats working in the Embassy of Nigeria, Washington, D.C. I am the acting deputy head of mission, in the diplomatic circle in the United States, the position is the position actually for an ambassador who is the second ambassador in the embassy and is referred to as the deputy chief of mission according to the diplomatic protocol. But in the absence of a nominated ambassador and who has actually retired, so I'm acting in that office as the acting deputy chief of mission. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to be a part and parcel and a family of GODSU because we've come a long way, and I'm also thankful to God for what I have learned so much from GODSU, the spirit of oneness, the spirit of love, the spirit of understanding and reaching out, and so many things that has been able to effect a change, not just in my life, but the people around me, to reach out to people positively. That is what I have learned from GODSU. I remember the day I graduated, it was really wonderful. I wept, you know, in my heart I wept because I didn't expect it, but it happened. And I mean, for God to bring you this far, you have to be thankful to Him and to be able to reach out to people. And given the situation, I wouldn't call it situation, passing time, because I know it will soon pass, of this pandemic, it has also helped us to reach out. Each time I refer to my notes on chaplaincy, it has helped me to reach out to a lot of people, to tell them, to encourage them that it's not going to be the same. I have been able to reach out to people to encourage them that irrespective of what you're going through now, God tells us that He has the best for us. And the best for us is because it's going to bring us to an expected end. And what is that expected end? The end of hope, the end of a jubilation, that this COVID will not remain with us, but it will pass over. And for us to pray for the scientists to come up with something that will help humanity. And we're all here to serve humanity. And I tell people the same thing, just like government ambassadors. We are ambassadors of Christ because God has chosen us to serve humanity. The government has chosen us to also serve humanity. So we play as the human ambassadors, but we are spiritual ambassadors when it comes to God. So I really, really want to seize the opportunity to also thank and appreciate the family of GODSU alumni. They've been exceptional for me, that's how I say it, because there are times in life you may not have an opportunity to meet such people who can bring you out, who can present you and make you become global. And that is what GODSU alumni has done for me. Because sometimes people may not really know who you are. I wouldn't have met all of you here if they didn't give me the opportunity. And I want everybody to be thankful and appreciated. So I'm really thankful, Mom. You've been a mother to me. God bless you. Thank you so much. And in the course of my career, it has been wonderful working as acting deputy head of mission to assist the ambassador in carrying out the activities of government. You know, the government's day-to-day activity to be able to influence positively issues that has to do with your country and where you find yourself, that is the host community. And that's what we're doing, you know, in terms of consular activities, reaching out in terms of, although right now, given the pandemic, we've slowed down, we're actually having skeletal activities in the office. We have rotational, you know, sessions. We still have like 17% who are still working remotely from home. It hasn't actually stopped us from working. We're working remotely from our homes. We're still communicating with our government, and we're doing our best to also, for every ambassador, for every diplomat, the interest of your government is paramount in that particular state where you find yourself. Yeah. So the interest of Nigeria is paramount to us in the United States, where it's really a thing of joy that I'm able to talk to very important people here who are also my brothers and my sisters. You know, so thank you so much, Dr. Diane. Thank you, Dakar, for this opportunity you have given to me. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jane Addams. And it's wonderful to see a woman sitting in the ambassadorial seat of Nigeria, even if it's as interim. And so we are so pleased that you're an alum. We're so pleased that you've opened up the Embassy of Nigeria every time that we have needed to come there as part of our graduation. So we thank you so much. And we're so excited that on August the 14th, we're going to do this again with you in the embassy. And so we thank you for your time. God bless you, and we love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have helping with entrepreneurial encouragement, Dean His Excellency Dr. Michael V. Roberts, Chaplain, CEO, Roberts Riverwalk Hotel, and author of Action Has No Season 2.0. Can you please give us a brief introduction and how we can get in contact with you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Dr. Diane and Dakar, let me just say this. You guys continue to impress the world. There are folks now from coast to coast and outside of our coast here in the United States who are supporting you and listening to you and your training and your teaching. And I can't tell you how proud I am of you and to have been there when you started and to follow that career. And you've allowed for so many people to be honored with their chaplaincy and their doctorates. And it just makes a human feel more important and more valuable to the community and to themselves when we're able to honor them the way you've honored them. And I just think you should continue to do this forever. I'm sure you will. I have no doubt. You also have your legacy with your three behind you, your three beautiful children, all of whom are, you know, the brightest and sharpest kids anyone will ever find anywhere. And that's because of the way you and your husband have poured in the leadership and the commitment back to our community. And this is what we need more parents to do. So unlike, you know, the whole more modern term of mentoring, where it's sort of a person and a person, what I did was I wrote a book, Action Has No Season, and Action Has No Season 2.0, 2 different books. And I provide the data in there, which is the mentoring data.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm able to mentor literally everyone who reads the book, thousands of people. And it's written in a fashion, I mean, you and I are lawyers, you know, we can write big fancy words and people have to grab the dictionary just to look it up. I recognize the importance of writing it, you know, well, when I was in politics and was an alderman and run for office, whenever we wrote our brochures, you write your brochures about who you are so a 5th grader will understand it.
Right.
You follow me? It can be deep stuff, but it has to be easily to read and understand, so that anyone can understand it. And I think that any mentor who's worth their salt has to be able to, whether it's in writing, as I've done it, or face-to-face, they have to be able to come to the level of the person they're talking to and speak to them on that level, but with the more profound result and types of data that you're trying to deploy to that individual. So that's how I kind of define and perceive the concept of mentoring. Well, every day when you wake up, you're given 86,400 seconds. That's the number of seconds in the day. And the moment you think of the moment, it's already gone. So therefore, if you're going to do anything or take action, you need to do it immediately. You don't wait for a certain time in the future in a season to take action. There is no season for action. Action is in the now. It's the existential approach. It's more importantly, it's the actionaire approach. And as you well know, I coined the word the actionaire, and that's one who takes their ideas, their dreams, their vision, their passion, and they pursue them with courage and confidence and bravado. But you're pursuing them then, not waiting for something to come your way, hopefully, but more importantly, you make the way. You know, in business, I see people sometimes thinking and lamenting and worrying about how their business is going to do against competition. And I tell them, don't you sit there and cry over what will happen potentially with this competition. You make the competition cry about the fact that you are there.
That's right. I love it. I love it.
Yes. But if your question is what should be implemented the most in today's world within our academic setting, I think we have to do that which we can to help people realize that as we move to the next decade and beyond, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics will be taking over, and it's going to create a change. Now, it's pretty fundamental. Change is coming, right?
Yes.
In different ways. The question is, will you allow change to control you, or will you control the change? So I say to students and to anyone moving along in an academic world or outside of that, prepare yourself for the change that's coming. Anybody who has a job today that is repetitive in nature, by 2030, 2035, they will not have a job. 50% of the people who have jobs today will not have them because of automation and robotics. We're going to see big changes there. So the question becomes, how do we embrace that and become the entrepreneur that builds on this future dynamic?
Yeah.
And I will tell you that this COVID-19 shift, one that is making us potentially already forced into this futuristic system. Why? How can I say and defend that? Why? Because of what we're doing right now.
Yes.
I mean, normally this would be a face-to-face interview. And it would be an interview that the class of GODSU would have in a room with each other.
Yes.
But how are we doing it?
It's
So
true.
we're going to have much more of this type of activity. And this is a big paradigm shift. This is shifting as we have been accustomed to the future. And the younger people who are seeing this for the first time, this will be normal for them.
It's
you see?
true.
And so the question becomes, how are we going to even enhance this experience?
It is, and it's funny because over a decade ago when I sat with you in Atlanta, and I gave you what I thought my vision was, and you put my vision up to another level. And I was thinking of a traditional brick and mortar, and you said online is fine. And the fact that we listened to you, now a lot of the other older, larger institutions now are trying to catch up to us because we've been doing this for a decade after we talked to you. So some of the innovative things that you come up with is way ahead of other people, and it has prepared us for where we are today. I want to ask, and when I met you, all of my family, my children, my husband, everybody sat down and read Action Has No Season. And now we have Action Has No Season 2.0. What's in Action Has No Season 2.0 that's not in the first book that would get other people ready so they can be a decade ahead the way you have advised us to be?
Well, Action Has No Season 2.0 is a workbook. It will have chapters on how to develop your mindset in business, how to deal with predicaments as a chapter. And after each chapter, I have questions, and I leave lines for you to actually write. So you can actually take a test. More importantly, it's putting a mirror in front of you to look at yourself. So if I read it, if you read the chapter and you understand it, then I may ask you questions in the book that relate to you, and you then answer in writing right there if you wish. I just hope that next time I'm there for our conference, that Dakar will continue to play on my basketball team and not play against me.
Oh, yes, that's true. Because for those who don't know, whenever we get together for our seminars, for our graduations, Dean, His Excellency, is always the captain of the mentors basketball game. And then the younger guys who are like 30s and under are supposed to be the mentee. But because of who he is, he gets to choose his team. And Dakar is always on his team. And between the two of them, they have monopolized, and they always win the game. So Dean Kappa here, His Excellency, always wins the game.
I would prefer that if you're going to buy my book, to try to find a black bookstore, and then they would get it online. If you can't do that, then go to Amazon.com and type in Michael B. Roberts. Action Has No Season 2.0, and you'll be able to pull it up right there and buy it right off of the Amazon network. So that's pretty much the only way to do it in today's world. That's the best way to do it, the fastest way. And it's on Kindle too, so you can download it if you wish.
And everybody in here has their own copy, the first one and the second one. And as I said, we're doing a class that will be Action Has No Season 2.0, and they will have to get that as the workbook, and the class will be on Tuesdays or Thursdays. We haven't decided. Right now we have 4 classes going on Thursday evenings, so it might be on a Tuesday evening. We will let you know.
Well, let me add one thing, and I need to thank you also for letting my daughter speak at one of our last graduations. She was very happy to have done that, Megan, and she's written several other documents and position papers. She continues. The original title was going to be Action Has No Season, Roman numeral 2. It was you who said, no, you have to call it 2.0. So I have to give you credit for helping me in the naming of that title. It was you who did that. And I listen carefully to you because you too are a mentor and have been helpful in framing it, the thinking and the thought process of me as well as many others. Well,
Oh, but it's my pleasure, it's my honor, and you know how much I truly love you, Dr. Michael. So thank you so much for being here, being our mentor, and whatever we can do to ensure that others follow in your footsteps, that's what we're going to do.
Can you please give us how we can get in contact with you?
hello, everyone. It is my email address is rramvrsr@aol.com. That's the old school AOL. I'll repeat it, rramvrsr@aol.com. And that's the best way to reach out to me as well. So it is a pleasure to see our other guests who are online here. And we just had a wonderful dialogue. So I'm very happy to hear from everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Being a speaker, we have Ambassador Arikana Chihombori-Quao, medical doctor, former AU ambassador to the United States. Also being a speaker, Dean His Excellency Dr. Michael V. Roberts Chaplain, who is CEO Roberts River Walk Hotel, also author of Action Has No Season 2.0. In October, we have our class with Dr. Roberts, so please be sure to register. We'll have some more information after the show. And helping with Will and Testament for GODSU Postmonius, Dr. Myrtle Gordon Ennis, who is author of The Great Bucket List, Lifting Dreams to the Light. We have GODSU Professor Emeritus, Dr. Naeem Akbar, clinical psychologist, life-changing legend, global educator. The following three helped with community service: Queen Mother, Her Excellency, Dr. Dolores Blakely, who is President New Future Foundation, Inc., Mayor Wayne Messam, who is Mayor of Miramar, Florida, and we have Honorable Mayor Dale Holness, who is Mayor of Broward County, Florida. We have the remaining five helping with administrative work: Assistant Dean Dr. Carla Cornegay Chaplain, who is CEO Cornegay and Associates LLC. Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Moore-Eubanks Chaplain, CEO Global Alliance Technical Services. Dr. Jennifer Jones Bryant Chaplain, founder Reaching Within Empowerment Journey LLC. Director, Her Excellency Cairo Dr. Eubanks, UNCSR CLC CEC Chaplain, CEO Cairo Speaks. And we have myself, Director, His Excellency Dakar Eubanks Chaplain, and I am the CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools, an international graphic and printing company providing you with all your marketing needs to help you and your company grow. Our popular products are GODSU African American Bibles, magazines, banners, flyers, branded golf shirts, branded jackets, digital business cards, as well as printed business cards. We also turn your brick and mortar into an e-commerce platform. The remainder helped with public relations for GODSU. We have Prince Dr. Kese Jabare of Warranting Consulting LLC, Reverend Dr. Lalithia Davis Chaplain, who is Key Advisor, Grace Design Women's Christian Organization, Desnant Dr. Deacon Patricia Page Chaplain, CEO Patricia International Learning and Training Center, and CEO Patricia's House of Fashion. Imam Dr. Salahuddin Muhammad Chaplain, founder of Muhammad Marriage and Relationship Services. Dr. Richard D. Miles, Senior Chaplain, CEO, Chairman, and Founder of Minor Football League. Also helping with logistics, Board Member, Her Excellency Dr. Arlene Spann, Chaplain, Founder Arlene Sweats. And last but certainly not least, my co-host and also GODSU Chancellor, the Right Honorable Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, JD Chaplain. Please take us away.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much to my handsome co-host, His Excellency Dakar. Before I even say who I am, I would like to extend a special appreciation to the GODSU leaders that he just listed who have volunteered many hours. We especially thank those who have provided the actual names, emails, and phone numbers for referrals. GODSU is so grateful for the opportunity to add workers of God to our database, as well as to register for our excellent and outstanding educational programs. I am Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, Juris Doctor. I am so pleased to be the main servant here at GODSU, as well as the provost here at Global Bible Institute. I am also a licensed financial service agent for Invita Financial Network, where we help you with your finances in terms of your insurance, your retirement planning. I'm also over the UN NGO, New Future Foundation Inc., the Jamaica chapter, where we help children in Jamaica with STEM computer products, as well as we mentor and help them with their life goals. We appreciate you all so much here at the Wednesday Icon Talk and want to encourage you to keep helping us as we grow and build. Thank you, everyone. And remember to like, subscribe,
and share.
That's right. You got it. Like, subscribe, and share, and comment. That's right. And comment. So thank you so much. And we have further messages for you. So listen on. We are going to the African Caribbean beats, okay, of General Stan. General Stan, take this thing away. So much, Mr. Stan. Everybody, Stan the General. He's going to be back tomorrow, and he's going to close us out tomorrow. Stan the man. Yes. And Stan, I have a tip. I'm giving you an extra tip because you outdid yourself. You are a master. You've traveled with us throughout the country. You've come with us to Houston, Texas. The ambassador of Nigeria fell in love with your music. You've been all over with us. You're a traveling music man. Everybody give him a hand, guys. Stan the General.
Global Ovid Day Seminary and University GODSU is a 501c3 interfaith e-learning Global Florida Department of Education Commission of Independent Studies approved degree issuing religious institution of higher learning under Florida Statute 1005.061F in Miramar, Florida, a suburb of Fort Lauderdale suburbs. Our curricula include programs like our theology diploma, bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs, which are designed for students called to the ministries of teaching and preaching. Program enrollees include pastors, evangelists, missionaries, and laypersons. Our additional courses: Entrepreneurial Studies, premier self-development courses on wealth building. We also offer a mini course for youth, the Junior Ambassador Youth Public Speaking, to gain professional and personal skills. Chaplaincy Diploma, Love and Spiritual, Interfaith, and Christian programs. Chaplains are trained, certified leaders attached to either a religious and/or non-religious institution or organization. Cybersecurity IT courses. Our licensed instructor has a 95% pass rate compared to the 30% national average for CompTIA accredited courses, such as Security Plus and Network Plus. 40% of our alum who've gone through our prestigious GODSU honors programs have also previously matriculated through their earned doctorate programs. Our alum include physicians, ambassadors, statesmen and stateswomen, icons and billionaires, religious leaders, titans in business, global philanthropists such as Ambassador of Ghana to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Bafor A.J. Bewa, Ambassador of Nigeria to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Sylvanus Musafor, billionaire builder and dean, His Excellency Dr. Michael V. Roberts, former Maritime Minister, Government of Nigeria, Honorable Dr. Leke Olawale, President of Fraser Net and Fraser Nation and Power Networking Conference, Dean, His Excellency Dr. George Fraser. Our world-class and esteemed professors include Attorney Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore-Eubanks, PhD, Chancellor, Physician Dr. Eric Bizetsky, Clinical Health and Nutrition and GODSU Medical Expert, Physician Her Excellency Rhoda Makinde, PhD, Chief Medical Doctor, GODSU, Medical Missions, Dean Michael V. Roberts, JD, PhD, Dean of Entrepreneurship Studies, Dean George Fraser, PhD, Personal Development Studies, Dean Kyra Eubanks, Dean of Junior Ambassador, Professor Willis Eubanks, PhD, Dean of Cybersecurity Program, Professor Reverend Dr. Joseph Hickman, Associate Professor, Theology Program, Professor Imam Dr. Talib Sharif, Professor Interfaith Program and Chaplaincy, Professor Reverend Dr. William Blake, Theology Program Curriculum Development, Professor His Excellency Dakar, Ethical and Successful Marketing